Ça, ce n'est même pas un carat, c'est 0,30 carat.
0,30 carat
0,30. Babibo sikoyo tozoko uluka moto oya kozalelo chef coutumier.
En français, hein?
Je vais vous dire, ici chez nous, hein, nous sommes à côté.
Il faudrait
Donc,
normalement
on a vers 7h à 8h.
Really want this money to do is to go to the people who own the land and who are not getting the logging royalties because they're not deforesting. They want to go to the indigenous people who inhabit the forests. And I think in some countries that's going to happen, but in other countries that may not happen. It's complicated to know how you can deal with that.
In DRC and other countries is much more challenging.
With over 145 million hectares of forests, covering 60% of its territory, the Democratic Republic of Congo hosts the largest portion of the Congo Basin. Forests are critical to the livelihood of 2/3 of the Congolese population. The United Nations Mechanism for Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Degradation, the RED, constitutes a concrete development opportunity for the Congo. In March 2010, the Surveyor team went to the Congo to meet stakeholders in Kinshasa, Kisangani, and Goma. In the heart of the rainforest, Kisangani is the capital of the province Oriental. On Kisangani's walls and streets, the marks of the civil war are vivid, and the economy is still new and fragile. Two rivers run through Kisangani, the Shopo River and the Congo River. People choose to live close to economic activity, which is naturally situated by the banks of the rivers and roads. Vendors selling small wood and forest products have set up shops every few kilometers. Augustine is a young entrepreneur from Kinshasa. To him, the forest business is a man's business.
I go through villages with my Land Rover and sit with the chiefs. I bring gifts for every town I visit, beer for the men, and colorful textile for the women. I sit and talk with the chief and celebrate with the villagers. In the morning I do business. I usually buy 1 to 4 trees at a time, and the villagers help me find them in the rainforest.
This way of doing business remains exceptional, the most common being foreign-owned timber companies who export trees as far as Belgium. In villages in the outskirts of Kisangani, small agricultural exploitation, wood extraction, and charcoal production for the villagers' subsistence are the main drivers of degradation. Here, deforestation is not a threat, as the rainforest is often inaccessible to large companies. Recently, the villagers have discovered a new source of hope, the mechanism for reducing emissions from deforestation and degradation, or RED. This mechanism provides a set of financial incentives to reduce the rate of deforestation and degradation, and therefore rewarding for forest preservation. Given the size of its forests, the Democratic Republic of Congo will play a major role in the RED at the international level. Decision makers and international aid workers in Kinshasa are putting together a strategy to enable the Congolese to benefit from the RED. And villagers seem to expect direct cash transfers, but the redistribution of RED revenues is still to be defined.
The land is owned by the state. The customary chief of each village traditionally grants the right of use over it. Now, modern and customary laws overlap.
The implementation of the mechanism is challenged by the ambiguity between the modern and customary laws. There's perhaps no other place that embodies best the contradictions of the Congo than Goma, the head city in North Kivu province. Here, forests constitute a distant theme in the shadow of mining interests, land-based conflicts, and gender issues. Located in between active volcanoes and a mountain lake, Goma hosts one of MONUSCO's headquarters, the United Nations Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Its mission is to neutralize all foreign armed groups, solve the issue of internally displaced people, and to do capacity building for the benefit of the Congolese state.
New military way of operation. You are operating in an environment that you need to take into account.
Yet, there are not enough troops to ensure control over protected areas and parks. Nature conservation in a country still to be reconstructed is seen by the local population as misallocation of resources. Goma is also the epicenter of an active local civil society. Mr. Prosper from the Pool Institute, an NGO devoted to research and conflict analysis, says,
"Our activities consist of empowering people to facilitate their access to land. In North Kivu, the vulnerable are primarily women, even though they cultivate 80% of the fields, as well as displaced people and subsistence farmers. We try to contribute to the empowerment of peasants in North Kivu."
The presence of a sound, well-functioning, and diverse local civil society is an indicator of an effective democracy. Their work is for the people and focuses on empowerment, advocacy, and education. Civil society has the potential to build bridges at local levels between traditions and customs and modern legal development and practices. There is limited communication between Congolese government and local civil society. Their cooperation is essential to drive positive change through the promotion of equality, social justice, and a fair distribution of resources.